aiming to help residents financially. New property and rent relief rebate checks are going to be sent out, and these payments are worth billions of dollars and will equal hundreds of dollars for many people. As fueled by surging revenue, states have been slashing taxes for individuals and businesses for the past 3 years. But tax cuts are expected to come to an end in some states in the fiscal year. Some 25 states have cut individual income tax rates since 2021. It includes 22 states that reduced their top marginal rates. In 2023 alone, at least 8 states approved rate reductions. And Arkansas is trimming its top individual income tax rate to 4.7% after reducing it from 5.5%. Aside from individual income tax cuts, states have proposed rebate checks for their residents. Last year, 17 states issued inflation relief payments as well. And now, if you're a Massachusetts resident, income tax refunds were available to you if you paid personal income taxes and filed your return by October 17. If you file your state return by October 17, you should be able to get your stimulus check back. Nearly $100 million in rebates will be sent out to residents across the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. Starting today, over 4 million older homeowners, renters, and people with disabilities will be issued rebates on rent and property taxes paid in 2022. According to a release, the rebates will be allocated to eligible Pennsylvanians who submitted an application through the property tax and rent rebate program. Applicants who submit their bank account information on the application forms will receive the rebate through direct deposit. And those who request a paper check to be mailed should expect to receive the payment in the mail too. But after the initial distribution of rebates in early July, rebates will be distributed as claims are received and processed. Recently, a Pennsylvania governor called for a major expansion for the relief program, which will provide a lifeline for Pennsylvania renters and homeowners. Under his proposal, the maximum standard rebate would increase from $650 to $1,000, while the income limit for renters and homeowners would be made equal and both increase to $45,000. But these income limits would also be tied to the cost of living moving forward, which means people who receive a rebate will not have to worry about losing their eligibility through no fault of their own. Ultimately, the proposal would result in nearly 175,000 additional Pennsylvanians qualifying for a rent rebate. Hoping to attract new residents, the governor has also proposed new tax breaks, and according to recent data, Pennsylvania experienced a notable population decline between 2 years. Some people may consider Pennsylvania to be a high tax state due to generally higher property taxes and high gas taxes as well. But the governor's announcement related to one of the state's proposals would actually be offering an annual $2,500 tax.
And what are some thoughts of yours to help to deal with any food insecurity?
Folks, did you know that you may be eligible to receive up to $1,000 from your state and city? And many of you are wondering how you can claim such additional financial assistance. Well, roughly 7 months have passed since the final enhanced monthly child tax credit payment was dispersed to families in the U.S. Now, since the checks ended, the number of children in poverty has increased from 12% to 17%. It has put 3.7 million children below the poverty line. Millions of parents welcomed these payments in the latter half of 2021 as they help provide financial relief during the crisis. This year, with inflation on the rise and a possible recession looming, several states are now planning to send families more money to lessen the impact. There's a new Republican Senate proposal that would send up to $350 per child and includes a work requirement. For now, it's up to the states to decide if they'll provide money to families in need. And so far, there are several states planning to enact a state child tax credit.
Economists tell us, spend the money, invest the money for those who need it the most, because they will spend it. It will be a stimulus, or at least a stabilization and that's a good thing.
The argument is over how much is appropriate at this particular juncture as we struggle to get the economy back.
According to state officials in Connecticut, healthcare workers, grocery store employees, and private sector employees who staffed vital services during the first 2 years of the crisis can begin applying for up to $1,000. It won't be clear until early October where the applicants will receive as much as $1,000, and that's because legislators and the governor, Ned Lamont, allocated just $30 million for the program. He said that Connecticut's essential workers have gone above and beyond during the crisis to keep the state running and safe. The new premium pay program is another way for us to return the favor, for these funds are truly meaningful. Every essential worker needs to know that they're available. To be eligible, an applicant must have worked between March 10th and May 7th of 2022 in one of these occupations that the state has listed. Some of the frontline workers in these categories include healthcare personnel. Eligible applicants must earn at least. Some of the frontline workers in these categories include healthcare personnel, food and agricultural workers, grocery store staff, and public transit workers. Applicants must earn less than $150,000 per year and cannot be employed by a federal or state entity. Full-time workers who earn less than $100,000 can apply for a $1,000 grant. Those earning more than $100,000 but less than $150,000 are eligible for grants on a sliding scale, ranging as low as $200. Part-timers working less than 30 hours a week can apply for a $500 grant. The application period will run until October 1st, and the goal is to process requests within a 60-day window. And for the company of Lowe's, the CEO said that in recognition of high inflation, we're providing $55 million in bonuses to our hourly frontline associates this quarter. And though there has been a slight decrease in gas and travel costs, recently the impacts of inflation are still affecting Americans, making it tougher for families to afford groceries and other essential goods. Microsoft, ExxonMobil, Walmart, USA have also offered bonuses, pay raises, and even gift cards to employees. But still, many of the nation's employers are still not paying their workers a living wage. The company website states that Lowe's employs around 300,000 associates, but it is not specified how much money each worker will receive and over what time period.
Between the White House and administration and Democrats up on Capitol Hill. Earlier today, both the Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi, and the Senate Republican leader, the Senate Majority Leader, Mitch McConnell, were on CNBC, and they explained really the fundamental philosophical dilemma here, which is all about how much is the U.S. government going to spend. Here's what they said.
Back on its feet and get the country in a place where it can sustain itself until we get a vaccine.
Now, Melissa, lawmakers had talked about an idea of having a deal by Friday morning. It looks like there's not a whole lot of time to pull something that big together by that timeline. But one of the questions about this meeting on Capitol Hill that's going on now is, can they at least agree to that price tag? Can they come up with a figure? Republicans have been around $1 trillion. Democrats have been $3 trillion or higher. Can they agree on a compromise figure? Can they just simply call it $2 trillion and start negotiating about what's going to be in there? That might be something that's doable.